Hello, welcome to a new video of Dynasty War. Today we'll take a look at the second troop in the barracks, the archers. The archers have pretty high DPS compared to the first couple of other troops, but low HP. They only take 2 housing space, so at maximum you can get 120 of them. And it is probably one of the few troops that you can just get 120 of them, and it will still work. You can still get the 3 stars. The training time and training cost is very low, so they are it's a very cheap troop. Movement speed is 3, attack speed is 1 second per attack, and the range is 4 tiles. That's excluding the tiles that they stand on. They are range, single targeted. They can target both ground and stealth, so they are very useful. Basically, they can attack anything in this game. They have a pretty high DPS as well, so it's very useful. However, the weakness is their HP. They are very vulnerable to splash damage, just like the warriors are. Biggest weakness is probably the catapult. Catapult can probably one-shot archers most of the time. Obviously, that depends on the level and the treasure for both the catapult and archers. Similarly to the catapult, Alchemist Tower can do the same thing. Obviously, Alchemist Tower doesn't have as much damage, but since they attack faster, they could probably hit probably 2 or 3 shot the archers, and it takes about the same time. So the archers won't last long if they're getting targeted by catapult or the Alchemist Tower. So you don't want to use them in the same spot, in the same location. Since you will be using 120 of them or 100 of them in your army composition, it is probably the best way to use them is to spread them out around the base. And since they're ranged, they cover they cover 4 tiles and they have high damage. And if you spread them out, they won't die at the same time, and you can probably clear 50% of the base just like that. And some heroes work really well with the archers. They buff the archers' attack or their range, so that makes them even better. Since they are very cheap in cost and training time, you can use them to loot easily and quickly. However, I won't suggest to use them for any competitive battle because of their low HP. They can die easily. Although you should still bring some of them, maybe 20 to 40 of them, just to test out traps, just like the warriors. Obviously, this costs 2 housing space and has lower HP, so it's not the best to test out traps. But they're still very useful. They could snipe out buildings at the edge of the base where it's not being covered by enemy defensive buildings. And in general, they have a pretty high DPS and their range, so they will always work, and they always work really well. But because of their low HP, you don't really want to bring a lot of them in the same location. Since the archer is the second troop you unlock, you could level them up pretty early, and you should max them out as soon as possible because they are probably the troop that you train and use the most. So getting a higher level archer will benefit you in the long run because you get stronger archers that you use to loot or just use to raid or whatever. So the archer is a pretty balanced troops in terms of that it can do a lot of things and almost useful in any application. So you should level them up as soon as possible. And that is it for this video. Next video we'll talk about the greedy captains. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.